Let me start by pointing out all the ways Marcus is different from Aiden from the first game. He's black and nerdy and, yeah, that's about it. Just stick those earbuds into your ears while breaking into a secure building. Not like you need to be aware of your surroundings or anything.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Not even a minute in, and this game is so desperate for people to like it that it's dropping movie references. Blume may be the most incompetent software company in history. You're telling me that after all the hacking that went down in Chicago, they haven't patched their easily exploited software that controls everything in a city? Anyone with a rooted phone can still gain access.
So that's him.
This is supposed to be Marcus's initiation into DedSec. Yeah, DedSec doesn't seem to know anything about the guy they're recruiting, since this is their first time seeing what Marcus looks like and reading his file. Also, why were you wondering what Marcus looks like when you have a file on him that includes his photo? Blume's profile on Marcus misspelled cryptology.
It's at least 120 degrees in there.
If your company's server is running at 120 degrees, you no longer have a server. Hope YouPorn isn't running on this thing.
He's in the system.
Nobody's gotten that far. This is like the secret cow level.
The secret cow level didn't exist until Diablo 2, and was made in response to people believing it existed in the first Diablo. You can be amazed once Marcus figures out how to bring Aerith back to life. In order to make puzzles even more annoying, you're no longer rerouting information on a network, but rerouting whatever this is through lines and nodes under walls and floors. Hacking. Go figure. One thing you never want to learn about the protagonist is his search history. Just Google image search anime hardcore purple hair elf and try to see Marcus in the same way afterward. That was a giant air vent you just threw yourself down, with a lot of hot air coming up. So either Marcus should hit the spinning fan at the bottom, or he should be cooked alive in the vent. Instead, he just reappears in the parking lot.
In 2013, Chicago realized the promise of smart cities with CTOS, a citywide operating system merging big data with surveillance, security, and transit programs. Hackers were able to hijack its central servers and cripple the entire grid. Many believed the attack would be a killing blow for smart city development. They were wrong.
Blume is still in business 2 years after the events of the last game. Normally, I would assume that a company whose software was responsible for a major US city being crippled would at least incur some kind of federal investigation that would result in bankruptcy. Instead, they get to install a CTOS in San Francisco.
Appliances, consoles, and home security systems give corporations a window into your private life.
And video game publishers sell you incomplete, non-working games at launch. We bagged your head so you couldn't find your way back to this beach that's under the Golden Gate Bridge in case you turned us down.
Am I in?
Welcome to DedSec.
You could have just told him that in the van on the way here.
The needs of the many.
I see what you're doing here with all these movie references, and it isn't going to work. That shit never wins anyone over. It's like your dad posting memes on your Facebook wall.
And this Casanova is Horatio.
What's up, brother? What's up, man?
Oh, I see how it is. Only the other black guy in the group gets any love? DedSec was a very serious hacker collective in the last game that was threatening war against Blume and even threatened Aiden for not helping them hack CTOS. In this game, they're a group of benevolent, nerdy hackers with the people's best interests at heart.
Big brother and little brother all rolled up into one.
Sees everything you do and tells on you.
Considering that DedSec exists due to its opposition to Blume and CTOS, I feel that members would need to sit around a fire reminding each other all the bad stuff Blume does.
The amount of personal data that thing is collecting is fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Can we please go back to the days when there were real evil plans afoot in our entertainment? Misuse of big data is bad, sure, but it's getting progressively harder for me to believe there's something major at stake when the villains are plotting to improve ad targeting.
We're hackers. We outthink, we out dare.
We sometimes cause mild inconveniences to people by DDoSing their favorite websites and occasionally posting dank memes. Fear us.
I say we tear down the fucking wall. Hey, show everyone what Blume's up to, man.
Wasn't that what they were doing already? I mean, that's what they were doing in the last game, so I assume the mission statement hasn't changed since then.
I installed a back door, so all we gotta do is walk right through.
Yeah, but they know that you broke in and would likely be going over their systems to see if it was compromised. Then again, this is Blume we're talking about. Ashley Madison is better at protecting their network. Marcus is taking a piss in clear view of those people just off to his left. This may be San Francisco, but that doesn't mean you can't go behind a bush.
Do you have the time?
You're wearing a Bluetooth headset. I would assume you have your own phone to check the time with. You should not pick up that phone. Marcus was just pissing while holding it. This is the first meeting between the hero and villain, by the way. It amounts to nothing, which sets the trend for the rest of the game. Also, his name sounds like douche, so you can tell how edgy the developers were being.
Meet us at the hackerspace.
Where?
Check your pics and figure it out.
Or you could just tell him the address. Somehow Marcus was so drunk that he got into bed with a girl he didn't know, had sex, then they both put their clothes back on and Marcus slept on the floor. My guess is the sex part never occurred, and Marcus is very lucky he woke up before this woman did and spotted the half-naked stranger who broke into her home and slept at the foot of her bed. How the hell did Marcus lose most of his clothes but not the laptop he keeps on his back? That would have to come off first before he removed anything else.
Go get yourself something to wear, and I'll tell you where to go next.
Go buy yourself some new clothes, even though we have a clothing vending machine inside DedSec HQ.
All right, you need two things to take down Blume. You need to get people to rally behind your cause and separate you from the trolls.
And we need bots, and a lot of them to handle the data CTOS is processing.
Thank you, Josh.
We spent all night modifying our app so you can get followers to download the app and we can use their processing power for the cause.
The goal of this game is to grow your follower count so you can increase the power of DedSec's botnet through app downloads. And what makes this even more disappointing, the botnet plot never actually happens. This game ends with them never using the botnet or it being meaningful in any way.
A 3D printer?
This is the army of printers. It is capable of pumping out an arsenal of lethal weapons down.
Except that 3D printers can only print things in plastic, not metal as far as I know, and certainly not both at the same time. And this printer only has spools of plastic filament feeding into it, yet it can print metal guns and RC drones.
You guys have heard of Gene Carcani?
He's the shit sack who's on TV laughing about how he's raising the price of leukemia medicine.
Yeah, the most hated man in America? Yeah, what do you ask?
Guy's a huge Bobo Dakes fan. Must have read Bobo's in town recording new tracks, because he's offering millions to keep the album to himself.
How is embarrassing a Farmer Bro wannabe doing anything to help you take on CTOS? I guess this is supposed to be cathartic, giving these people the punishment they didn't get in reality, but damn it, this shit doesn't feel juvenile.
In a world where technology connects everything.
At this point, starting a fake movie trailer with a line, "In a world," just goes to show you how little the writers value actual comedy. Hell, there's an entire YouTube channel devoted to fake movie trailers and they don't even use that joke cliche.
One man prowls the information superhighway in search of cyber justice. I'm looking for cyber justice.
This trailer for a crappy movie about hacking is ironically close to the plot of the first Watch Dogs, and I don't think Ubisoft is witty enough for that to have been intentional. Why would a movie made in 2016 look like and use effects straight out of the 80s?
You know what I'm thinking? We cut our own version of that trailer. And that car is gonna help us do it.
You do realize the talking car is just a movie prop. You could just steal any car and make it look like the one from the movie. You don't have to steal it from the studio, and holy hell, this is what the entire game is going to be like, isn't it? This studio must really hate spoilers, since their set is guarded by heavily armed security.
Your face is too dark for my sensors to read.
What? Bitch, I'm black and I'm proud. Tell your sensors to calibrate that.
I have no reference for black.
That's racist.
The car's designed for autonomous control, but
A car clearly from the 80s is built for autonomous control? 80s build it up montage cliche. You're going to control the car remotely using a touchscreen. I could probably do that coughing while saying bullshit bit here, but I'm pretty sure the amount of coughing I'd have to do to cover up the word bullshit would throw out my voice. And I still have a lot of lines to record for this video. Well, I guess we showed those evil movie execs that they shouldn't make cheesy movies that are out of touch about technology. The world is now 0.000000001% better for it. How did Marcus and Wrench get down here to watch a Cyberdriver car crash through a billboard? They were on a hill outside the city when they remote piloted it, and Marcus was focused on controlling it.
It's like sadtube.com. A channel for sad people, am I right?
I'm starting to actually wish for classic villains with facial scars and Russian accents of doing yoga and speaking into a Bluetooth headset as the modern alternative.
So tell us about Home 2.0.
Home systems are completely bulletproof.
People can hack entire cities in this world. Why would you think a home security OS would be unhackable? I know there are computers in a lot of things these days, but a toaster? That kind of processing power is usually saved for video game consoles. In the time since this guy gave an interview about the home security system, Marcus stole a robot from his company so they could crack the OS, had another montage of them cracking the system, then he broke into a smart home so they could hack into the server there, then broke into Hom HQ to download their company data, then climbed a radio tower so they could hijack the TV station, and the guy is still giving an interview about it.
This is gonna cost us a lot of followers.
DMCA takedown. Annoying.
Tell me about it. I have to fight with Square Enix every time I upload a Final Fantasy video.
We are so gonna cornhole this fake-ass church.
Looks like it's time to reenact Anonymous's war with the Church of Scientology. It's like they came up with these missions after spending 5 minutes looking through a wiki about major hacking events.
Let the cornholing begin.
I say this at the start of every game I do a video for.
Cornhole.
Settle down, Beavis.
By enlightenment, it only costs your life savings.
That is without a doubt the most awkward and ineffective protest chant I've ever heard. Discount John Travolta. Never thought that would come up in one of these videos, did you?
I pulled the records of all the properties they own in the Bay Area. There's one that just doesn't check out. Over there.
I had you meet me right outside the location I'm going to be sending you to, so it would be super convenient for you. I mean, I could have just told you all this over the phone, but this way the developers get to pat themselves on the back for including a transgender character. Marcus just learned from Jimmy Siska about the Red Room, where New Dawn takes people for re-education, and Marcus delayed Siska's real consultation with the cult investigator by impersonating him. But somehow Siska is already here being re-educated before Marcus arrives.
That house is built on lies.
First, Miranda needed to meet Marcus right outside the building where she believed the Red Room was located. Now Siska needs to meet Marcus right outside the temple where New Dawn keeps the Sumerian tablets that are the heart of their religion. Did Ubisoft forget this is supposed to be an open world game where traveling is part of the fun?
Rows of ancient Sumerian tablets. Why aren't they in a museum?
Probably for the same reason all the ancient stuff owned by the Catholic Church isn't in one. Why would they need to fake a rock with carvings on it? It's not difficult to carve hieroglyphics into some real rocks. DedSec created and released a video exposing New Dawn and the amount of time it took for Marcus to ride the elevator out of the basement. Considering I work with a graphic designer for the intros of these videos, I have a pretty good idea of how long it would take to make a video like this. And they only use a few seconds of Marcus's footage of the fake tablets, the most important part of the expose.
Shit.
Pictured here is the response Ubisoft execs had after seeing the sales figures for Watch Dogs 2.
I was looking at our numbers, how many people downloaded our app, how much processing power we had available, and that's when I saw it.
What?
Wrench plays along with the pronoun game, but in an aggressive, annoyed tone that I can appreciate.
A chunk of our followers and bots came from inactive or dead invite accounts.
This is why you require email verification. Did you guys even use a CAPTCHA to make sure bots couldn't sign up?
I'm in.
I'm starting to think the reason hacking is so easy in this world is simply because no one uses passwords. Marcus breaks into the CEO of Invite's computer in 2 seconds flat.
Marcus, is this a bad time? Sort of feels like a bad time.
Did you know that Marcus would come here if you faked all those accounts? If so, how did you know they had realized the accounts were fake so you could be here to meet Marcus? I mean, that could have happened literally at any time.
Because I think it was fate that I was in the night that you hacked into our system. I had to meet you, and there you were, pissing on your sneakers.
And so I decided to go and meet you and ask you what time it was, all according to plan.
Why'd you prop up DedSec's numbers?
You frightened the rest of Silicon Valley right to my doorstep.
You used us to sell CTOS 2.0 to them.
So is this always the marketing strategy? Because you could never have managed to predict that DedSec would start moving against Silicon Valley and you, allowing you to paint them as the enemy.
Your record is back on file, your backdoor access is plugged, and those bots I gave you, gone.
Dusan says Marcus's backdoor access to CTOS is plugged. Yet Marcus can still do all the stuff he's always been able to do, even while escaping from the police right after this.
Look, guys, to be honest with you, I genuinely don't have a plan. But I got an idea, and I don't know, just trust me.
Your plan is to go to Burning Man? Look, I don't blame anyone for coming up with an excuse to go to Burning Man, but you are facing the end of DedSec and you are a wanted criminal. This is more of a batten down the hatches and keep your nose to the grindstone kind of situation. Not let's go do LSD and have unprotected sex in the desert. They told me I could be anything I wanted at Burning Man, so I became a Kanye West zebra.
These are from our DedSec channels. DedSec is not worthy. DedSec is a bunch of skitties. You told us lies and bullshit. Hashtag DedSuck.
That's pretty tame as far as internet comments go. I get called worse than that every day on YouTube. Watch Dogs 2 boob rendering technology is 5 years behind Metro last light.
Say something random.
Okay, beer is oil for the human machine.
Bwomp.
Oh, damn! You just Inception bombed me!
Bwomp.
I'm Ray!
I would say you look more like Rob Zombie played by Johnny Depp, but as long as Ray is the only character from the first game returning, you can make him look like whomever you want.
You the leader? Oh, man, it doesn't work like that. DedSec's got a rule. No personal armies. No leaders.
But they do have a rule of you doing all the dangerous work. Also, leaderless groups tend to fail more often than not.
But subliminal is passive. Bellwether program is control. It's like a Orwell Huxley double punch.
An Orwell Huxley double punch would just cancel itself out, since those are two opposing ideas of mind control over the people.
Walk with me, Marcus.
This is how religions start.
But you met Ray already, right? I want to introduce you to Raymond Kinney.
Marcus is the only one in DedSec to recognize Raymond Kinney, one of the most famous hackers in the world. Of course, as soon as Marcus says his name, they all realize who he is and can't believe they didn't see it before.
Look at the big shot data harvester. Our friends at Noodle. Now, every time you search for discount refrigerator or bulldozer porn, they learn more and more about you.
Scientology, evil Facebook, now evil Google. Is there a WikiLeaks mission or is that being saved for the DLC?
What do you call a black man surrounded by thousands of white people? What? Mr. President?
I don't think they know yet.
Yo, Horatio, man, I'm scared, bro.
What is it?
Nobody look like us.
Oh, man, welcome to Silicon Valley.
Ubisoft is staffed by a whole lot of white dudes, so them throwing stones at Silicon Valley for the same thing is hypocritical. But hypocrisy has never stopped Ubisoft before, so they don't let it get in the way of pandering to an audience now.
If I had a nickel for every time someone complimented me for being well-spoken.
I'm a pretty liberal guy myself, but I think this game is made exclusively for people who actually live in San Francisco, or at least people writing video game reviews for Polygon.
Carlin.
Brody.
White people are evil cliche. I mean, we are, but you don't need to point that out so much. Brody suspects Horatio of being a hacker who's breaking the law and looking through Noodle's private files, which is all correct. So he may be a prejudiced asshole, but he's an asshole who's just doing his job. Brody takes Horatio's coffee cup out of the machine to put his own under it, but never pours any coffee, then walks away with an empty cup. Rather than tell Marcus his code for the server room before coming here, Horatio waits until he gets called into HR and has to write the code on a pad so Marcus can see it through a hacked security camera. After hacking Noodle's servers, DedSec is able to pin the blame on Brody instead of Horatio. The reason Noodle suspected Horatio is due to tracking his keystrokes on his computer, which I would assume they would have confirmed before having an HR meeting. Somehow DedSec pins the keystrokes on Brody's workstation, and someone just happens to double check that during the interrogation so Horatio could be let off the hook.
Tell me everything you know about DedSec.
Actually, you already know pretty much everything about them, and this money you're paying Lenni is to hack them, not give you information.
DedSec is a bunch of losers spamming your newsfeed. They pretend.
Discount max headroom. Also, is there a quota being filled for transgender characters in this game? Ubisoft is really trying to get on people's good side after that no playable female character in Assassin's Creed Unity. I think I can reasonably assume that Lenni was named after and made to look like the Lenni face emoji.
Fuck!
Lenni smacked the other side of your cheek. Also, it didn't look like his hit was strong enough to warrant cursing.
What does she want? She wants us to release a vid where we smear ourselves.
Did you just assume her gender?
Fucks.
Weren't you planning to name the members of DedSec publicly if they didn't do what you wanted? What happened to that plan?
The propaganda vids, the graffiti, the anti-whatever do-gooder bullshit.
You released a similar vid to the ones DedSec released after you hacked them. And who gets pissed off about marketing? Do they make Wi-Fi guns that can read RFID chips? Why did Marcus even have to talk with Lenni again if they could just hack his implant from a distance?
Important question time. Aliens versus Predator.
This is not important question time. This is fill-in time in the long drive to Lenni's bunker by having a pointless conversation straight out of Deadly Premonition.
Was my fail-safe for Sons of Ragnarok, but yeah, this'll work too. Can't have my hard drive seized by undesirables.
That's racist. Also, why not just have your bunker set to blow up on command? Why give it a 5-minute timer that can be deactivated?
It's from Miranda. You're being followed.
Miranda is a councilwoman. How would she have access to FBI surveillance photos that were taken just a minute ago?
Something hinky's going on, man. Something big. Different hackers I know, they've been noticing vans following them around and shit.
Gee, I can't think of any reason for the FBI to keep track of the activity of hackers.
They're trying to co-opt or blackmail every group they can.
For what?
They want control of all the 0 days, and they don't want competition.
Which is pretty much impossible, since hackers exist all over the world, so getting rid of hackers in the US would give the FBI control of 0-day exploits.
There's an old-style payphone outside of Dellum's. Pick it up, identify yourself as Fred. Record the signal you get.
Why the hell is the FBI playing an audio file over a payphone that's open to the public that grants access to their office building? It's at this point that I realized every mission in this game is exactly the same. Sneak into a building, solve a hacking puzzle, then plug into a server and wait for a progress bar to fill up. After Wrench is arrested by the FBI, you hack the camera in the interrogation room to see what's happening, including one camera that would not be connected to any network since it's just a video camera recording to its internal memory.
Tell your friends about the deal. If they want to be off the FBI's radar, they just gotta come see me.
Shouldn't you maybe have made this offer to DedSec before now? You even joked about not hiring Marcus when you last met him since it would look bad if he employed someone on a no-fly list.
Damn it, you motherfuckers! I'm coming to get that mask back! Wrench?
I'm here.
I'm getting your mask back.
Wrench can make another mask, or buy one. It's not worth getting killed by the FBI to get it back. In fact, I'm surprised the FBI took it back to their compound instead of throwing it in the trash. They certainly don't need it for anything.
Found the phone, but no Horatio in sight. There is a street cam.
Isn't the point of all these CCTV cameras to help deter crime? Why is there no response when someone is abducted in clear view of one? Zoom and enhance cliche. So the Tesca's gang kidnap Horatio for some reason, bring him back to their house and stab him, then leave him lying on the floor to bleed out. This is a city full of cameras. How did they plan to get away with this? Sorry, Horatio, but this is the one Ubisoft game without dead family members. And since you're Marcus's only black friend, you'll have to do. Also, your name is Horatio and you're friends with the main character. The gang members were filming their torture of Horatio and just left the phone lying on the floor, and they killed him right next to one of their gang hideouts. I would call them incompetent, but I'm pretty sure this is just Ubisoft being convenient lazy with mission design again. Thankfully, Marcus's revenge boner lasts only a few missions, unlike Aiden's that took up an entire game. This entire set of missions ends with you hunting down and killing the people responsible for Horatio's death without ever learning why they did it. I think Ubisoft realized none of the good guys had died, so they just threw this mission in to raise the stakes.
You're thinking about putting a little something on their next satellite launch and piggybacking into orbit?
Aiden pretty easily hacked a Blume satellite in the last game. Why is it suddenly so difficult that Marcus has to sneak into the manufacturing plant to install a hacked motherboard on the satellite?
If this works, we'll have a Martian's eye view of Blume's server farm and all the sweet, juicy data contained therein.
A big company like Blume must have server farms across the country.
Well, with any luck, we'll key into one farm and use it to find the others.
You do not need to hack a satellite to locate and hack a server farm. Just because a game likes to pretend the hacking is done via line of sight does not make it true.
If we get a hold of the Dusan dick pic, we have the ultimate leverage.
Yeah, especially if it's small or warty.
And knowing him, his dick probably has its own fucking man bun on it.
They go on talking about Dusan's dick for over a minute. It's a mystery why this game didn't sell better. No one notices this crane moving back and forth across the clean room. I hate to tell Marcus this, but he just wasted his time. That panel he pulled out and installed a hack MOBO into is part of the rocket and not the satellite inside the payload compartment. Earth is apparently very low res. No wonder aliens always want to destroy it. You know how everyone still makes jokes about the hacking in Jurassic Park even though the file system was real? Well, I want to see everyone start making jokes about hacking server farms by looking down at them from a satellite, because this actually deserves it. Marcus just shut down the power to all of South Korea, killing countless people no doubt. Considering Ray shutting down a power grid in the US and getting people killed was such a major part of his backstory, you would think he would be against his action. Somehow, DedSec inside their little basement HQ can download and store all the metadata from Blume server farm. This server farm is a giant complex full of tower after tower of servers, meaning this has got to be an insane amount of data that has an obscure measurement name.
Focus on why the satellites are in play. Ray.
Yeah, already got eyes on it.
It takes only a few seconds to go through and find something incriminating in what has to be exabytes of data. I looked that term up on Google to appear smarter, by the way.
Holy lovin' fuck. It's a backbone.
No. That was clearly a loading progress bar.
Satellite backbone?
What about the latency? There's no way they can match the speed of fiber optics.
If I'm reading this right, they are.
That's amazing that Blume figured out how to bypass the laws of physics.
We got Noodle. We got Invite. We got Titus. We got Galilee. We got the government, the New York Stock Exchange.
Wait, so all these companies just agreed to up and funnel all their data through Blume? Does anyone else find this suspicious?
Also, very unlikely. I mean, the government and all these companies are just handing their confidential data over to Blume just so they can send data over a satellite network that's the same speed as a submarine cable. What advantage does this even have?
In a free and just society, every person is treated with dignity.
We're bringing out George Bush sound bites to make a positive point, are we? What strange times we live in.
Joshua picked up something strange from the Galilee hack.
Other than the satellite backbone network that's just as fast as fiber optics.
It's code, but the comments are in Chinese.
Tell me the Chinese didn't hack the satellite backbone already?
Why would you even assume they could? You had to slip a new motherboard in that thing before it launched.
Not the satellite. The submarine cables connecting China and the US. That's not even the interesting drop your pants part. Blume's been monitoring the hack.
They can detect the hack of the undersea cable they don't own, but not the hack of their own satellite?
Hackers are stealing data and using it to make a mint on the New York Stock Exchange. Program the hackers are using? Pattern recognition software.
You would not need to use pattern recognition software to commit insider trading if you have access to all the insider information.
His container is nicer than my last apartment. I'm sending you a picture.
You just took a photo of the ground. Who keeps their tablet locked in a wall safe?
Patch you in on my side. Just get your phone to a clear location. I'm sending you coordinates to a lighthouse in Marin.
Go to this place that likely has no decent internet connection. I refuse to believe that you can hack a bar just by looking at it from a satellite. Hell, Marcus even takes over a drone toy inside it. Turns out Blume helped the Chinese hackers hack the undersea cable so they could spin it as a vulnerability of the network so they could then sell companies on their satellite system. However, the info Marcus stole from Blume's data center said all the major players were already on board. So why would Blume need to convince anyone at this point?
Stop. Guys, stop. Just keep the paint.
You might actually want to get rid of the paint, since it has the name DedSec written clearly on it, and you intend to smuggle this thing into a robotics factory. I'm sure no one will notice a giant pipe bomb you just attached to the front of the robot wearing the DedSec logo. In the first Watch Dogs, there was a video game where you controlled a spider robot. Since that was the best part of that game, they brought it back, only this time it's not a video game, even though it makes no sense. This is like Boston Dynamics actually making a Metal Gear.
Turns out, Congressman Thrust's re-election campaign is getting logistical support from Invite.
Looks like we're in that part of the game where we have to deal with a Trump-like politician and his election. We've got the next 4 years of this plot line being recycled in game after game. You really showed Congressman Thrust with that graffiti of some poop on his campaign billboard.
He's trying to pass a law against groups with the capability of revealing proprietary directives and actions.
That is so vague I don't even know what it means, but I'm pretty sure it would be found unconstitutional a day after being signed into law.
Teresa Moretti seems to have a shot.
If that crowd of a dozen people at a rally is any indication of her public support, no, she doesn't.
If Invite gets its way, no election is safe.
Evil Facebook, or normal Facebook depending on how you look at it.
Your numbers are tanking, and we can't afford that. Now it's time for Plan B. You do remember what Plan B is, don't you?
Wouldn't the hacking of voting machines be better left to you instead of the congressman? He doesn't have access to electronic voting machines. Marcus survives this. Destroying just a dozen voting machines is enough to stop Thrust from rigging the election. If they were hacking this few machines, then I doubt it would have mattered much. I'm not singing this song, but I am singing how cliche it's become to play it ironically in games and movies.
Conspiracy? And did he darken my picture?
That's racist.
Looks like the douche has made you a federal problem.
Well, they finally made that joke official. It was so subtle until now.
Gotta do something. I can't stay here stuck.
No way. That is exactly what Dusan wants.
Besides, you've been doing a lot of the heavy lifting so far. Time to share a load before your back breaks.
They could have been helping you this entire time. Instead, they waited until Marcus was put on the most wanted list to do anything but sit in HQ. Is that a mouse cursor on Sitara's phone? I don't think I've ever seen that before. DedSec probably should have considered exposing the predictive bellwether technology Blume is developing before now. They've known about it for a while at this point, but only act on it now that Dusan is after them. We should have been playing as Wrench the entire game. I much prefer blowing up everything with grenade launchers to hacking terminals with a drone. Also, his character is way funner.
Once you access Blume's air-gapped computer, transmit everything through your phone and relay the intel back to the mothership.
I hope Marcus has a really good data plan if he's sending an entire server worth of data through his phone. You know, when I first started pointing out games and with a villain giving up when confronted in his office in front of a giant window with a view, I thought it was just a funny joke. I didn't think I was exposing a growing trend. Cops walk right by Marcus, who is currently the most wanted person in the country. They have no idea that he's the one who exposed Dusan, and that honestly wouldn't even matter if they did, so they should be arresting him too.